Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Good evening and welcome to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. I'm Tony Rathman.
And I am Cherie.
I'm Chris Allwood.
I'm Audrey Keeler.
I almost went out of order.
We're all excited.
I'm Lourdes Gonzalez.
Okay, I'm Ron Yakovic. I felt like we had to give some of that time back.
I thought you forgot who you were.
I did.
It's so good to be back live.
Yes. Hi,
It is. We had a break over Labor Day, and I think that's about the only break we took.
Yeah,
right?
We did the other holiday.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. We did one other holiday break, but it is good to be back, and I think our audience is going to love the show tonight. We are going to do a two-part series this week and the 19th. And our guest is Don Phillips and his wonderful wife, Patty, who you will get to meet. I put out, if you haven't seen it, I put out an interview with Steve Mera yesterday where Steve had worked quite exclusively with Don on a variety of different projects and just had some super vital information about what Don does, what he's capable of, and we're going to cover a lot of that tonight too. So I think probably the best way to get started is let's bring Don in and introduce him. So Here he comes.
Welcome,
hey guys.
Hello.
Yeah, a 30-second warning would have been nice, Tony.
You're allowed.
You know, life's pleasantries, what can I say? Anyway, you know what, guys? Great to see you all. Appreciate the opportunity. We spoke about this for some time, and here we are.
Here we are.
Yes.
So much to talk about.
Yes.
I guess what we normally start out with when someone's a new guest on the show is just give me a little background. How you got started in the paranormal, the path you went down, how it got you to where you are today, and a condensed version, because I know that's a whole show in itself.
Do you know how big that question is, Tony?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, seriously, come on.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, I got to tell him a short version.
Yeah, we'll edit it and come back later. Okay, so I'll give you a very brief synopsis, okay? Like a lot of people come on and say, you know, it started when I was very young, and it did. I was probably about 7 years of age. Even at that age, my life was hell between the age of, well, pretty young and up to about 12 years old. I was a kid at school that was always bullied, and I was a loner, okay? To the point, I mean, I know it's never going to happen now, but when you're a child and you're bullied to that extent, you actually do fear for your life, you know, because bullying is bullying and fear is fear, no matter how old you are. So I was always a loner, and I don't know if that had something to do with this. And there's part of this I'm going to tell you now, and I don't even know if it happened. I can only tell you what's been told to me. When I was about 7 years old, night time, you know, I go to bed, and sorry, forgive the smoking weed, it catch me off guard, Tony, a little. You guys, I think you call it a chair rail that kind of goes around the room. Okay, we call it a picture rail. It's high up on the ceiling. And it started this first night. I had an old street light outside my in the street that reflected through my bedroom window, and I could always see this chair rail, you know, around the top of the wall. And this one particular night, for no reason, I mean, bear in mind I'm 7 years old, okay. And I'm looking, and I noticed I couldn't see the corner anymore. I thought, okay, that's weird, shadow or whatever. I didn't really think anything of it. I'm a kid. Okay. Over the next few nights, well, let's not exaggerate, Don. Not over the next few, over the next couple of 3 nights, I noticed where you would see the chair rail meet in the corner, it was blacked out, and this blacking out seemed to get more and more. So eventually, as it came out, I could see less of the rail and less of the corner. And then it was probably about on the 5th night, and I realised that it wasn't something reflection or a shadow. This is actually, you know what? Terminology is a funny thing, but I've got to use this word because I can't describe it as anything else. Like a black mass, okay? And it was actually in the corner of the bedroom, and it was gradually coming towards me. And as it came towards me, obviously it spread out, and that's why I wasn't seeing this. So this got to the point. I'm going to cut forward now a couple of nights. This, let's call it a thing, because to this day I still don't know how to describe it or what it was. But I can tell you, you know, when you're a child, your eyes are a lot better when it's closer vision. You know, not like I am now, where I put something there and it's all blurry and I've got to get my readers out. It was kind of here, and like I say, the street light was outside, so it wasn't even dark. I mean, it hit the room pretty good with ambient lighting, and I could actually see the outline of this thing, and it was all kind of like bumpy, like imagine a silhouette of a brain, you know, that kind of bumpy outline.
Right.
And so I'm just looking at a squirrel. I've got just trying to pop in the door. Don't do that now. No, go away. And it got to the point where it literally got to here, and I fell asleep. I thought I fell asleep. The next morning, I woke up. I was fine. I did the kid thing, you know, and everything. But over the next few days, I started to hear these little voices and whispers. No, do you know, I want to be as honest as possible. Let's not say they were voices. I could hear these sounds, which was like a... Didn't know what it was. But then I also felt a spirit presence. But at the time, I didn't know it was a spirit presence. I started to feel these spirit presences all the time. And I actually said to my mother, and bear in mind I'm like 7 years old-ish, 7 or 8. She says, oh, well, I mean, I don't know about in the US, but in the UK, if you're going to, oh, someone just walks over my grave, I don't know if you guys have heard of that saying, you know, you just get that little shiver. I mean, Mum said that's what it is, so I thought that's what it was. And I still got this little going on. But it got to the point this has been a very gradual, incremental thing over several weeks after that. It wasn't an instant thing. Where I felt that like there was somebody behind me all the time or with me all the time. And to the point when I went to go to bed at night, I ran upstairs really quick because I felt like someone was right behind me.
Wow.
Now, since then, it's been put to me by Becky. Now, you know, I don't want to appear mystical, but you know me, Tony, I am an honest guy and I will tell it the way it is, the way I perceive it, and what I've been told. The night I fell asleep and woke up the next morning, apparently I died. I was told I died. I can't prove that. I can't disprove that. But the only thing I will say about Becky, which your viewers will be introduced to at some point, is that she never lied to me about anything. I've never been wrong about anything. And this was years ago when I was talking to Becky, and I said, why? And she said, it had to happen. So, and it would almost seem like this was something that was planned, and I don't to this day know why it was me, why that happened. But it got to the point. I kept this secret for a long time. As I got older, this was still carrying on. These sounds then became voices. To the point, I'm 16 years old and I'm at school, and I'm sitting in the exams. Everybody's sitting there in total silence doing their exams. All I can hear is the voices. And I could actually make words out. Unfortunately, they wasn't giving me the answers, which I wasn't
going to ask you that.
Could have done that easily. But just backtracking a little bit, before I got to 16, which I should have mentioned before, 8, 9, grandparents started dying. I started going to the funerals. Obviously, my parents. And I'd sit in the car. We'd drive through the cemetery, whoosh, and I would get this feeling. And I kind of learnt to interpret what it was. I didn't understand it at the time, but I knew it was something to do with, I won't say ghosts and spirits, because by this time I'm probably, 7, 8, 9 years old. You've not watched your paranormal shows. You've not been brainwashed.
Right.
You've not read the paranormal books and everything else. But this has been an incremental thing over many years for me. Many years ago, I used to watch Ghost Adventures and this and that and Barry Fitzgerald, And I thought, because I wanted to find answers for me, what is going on? Because by this time I'm much older. There's something going on here, and I don't know what it is. I literally don't know what it is. Do I believe in ghosts? Do I believe in spirits? There's something going on. I need to find answers. So I started JSI. Well, actually, it was a long time before that, but eventually I started JSI Paranormal UK. I very, 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 very quickly found that I had an affinity with these guys, and it didn't matter where I went, they seemed to not know me, recognize me as something, as though, again, I don't like to use this terminology, but I can't think of anything else. I was kind of marked in some way. In any location that I went, I got interactions immediately. You get people and they go on the ghost hunts, and they're doing EVP sessions. And they sit there for hours sometimes, and they get something. Some are good, some are bad, some just totally scrap. I never had that problem, because 9 times out of 10, every time I hit the recorder, I got an intelligible reply. Some that we will hear tonight, obviously, Tony.
Yes.
And then it went on beyond that. Later, I went on location, and then that's where I met Becky. That was many years ago now. And I'm trying to be a little bit careful. Our first introduction with Becky is, at this time, I could already distinguish male from female and children, and I could do a lot of stuff. My problem was proving that I could do this stuff. The first thing I did with Becky, I said, "Hi, sweetheart." She said her name was Becky and everything. "Can you take the temperature down for us?" And I've got this video clip we can play on the second part of the show. And she said, "Yes." And it was as clear as that. The temperature dropped 14 degrees in about 9 minutes. To the point, as I was talking there, the air went white, the breath. This is on camera. We've got this. I was really impressed with Becky. I was like, wow, this entity, and you understand, Becky will be listening now, and she knows I'm not being disrespectful, but I'm not a stupid person. Things are not always as they seem.
Right.
There is good stuff, there is bad stuff. This suddenly wonderful female with a lovely, endearing voice. How can I put this? There'll be certain things this evening I'm going to tell you, and you guys can form your own conclusions. But you need to bear in mind they are your conclusions. It's not factual, and you don't know. So after that, it was a case I was on. It was several nights later. Becky was there again, and she came to me. Now, when I said came to me, it was the most incredible feeling at that time I'd ever had. It was like a chill feeling with a blowy chill feeling, and it didn't just hit me. It literally went right through every bone of my body, and it was absolutely goddamn amazing. Okay. And it would appear since that day, my communications with these guys and other things have just been off the scale. And to this day, we've progressed, and it's got stronger and stronger and stronger. I guess in some ways, for whatever reason, I don't know, and I can't think of any other way of putting it, that in some ways I am Becky / their, or have been and are their pupil, because guys, the stuff they've taught me over the years, and the knowledge, and oh my God, and the abilities that I gained through Becky you know what? It is not normal for a human to absorb spirit energy and be able to use it in whatever way. That is not normal. We've got things like we've got chi, we've got this and that. This is none of them things.
Right. Before you go any further, Don, let me just clarify two things for the audience.
Okay.
Becky, who Don is referring to, is not a human being. This is
No.
We go back and forth on terminology. Not sure exactly what the right term is, but it's a non-human entity. Now, what I think we should do, Don, is just because you started bringing up the energy thing, is maybe just show that clip.
Do you know what, Tony? I get asked to do a lot of interviews, right? And I turn most of them down because it is very, very hard for me to introduce what I do, what it's about, and Becky to people, because it's totally different, and people will never ever understand the union, how it works, and everything else. So yeah, it's probably a good idea now to actually go to a clip where we can actually demonstrate some things.
All right, let's take a look. I think this is the one. Here it comes.
This first clip I'm going to show you now, this is the first time I was hit with energy. I was filming for a documentary for Channel 4. The cameraman was tired. We stopped for a coffee.
Need a coffee? Because you're flagging already. Yeah. Jet lag kicking in. Yeah.
Then, from nowhere, I was subjected to a very hard hit of spirit energy. At this time, this energy was totally alien to me, and my body responded accordingly.
Jeez.
I didn't know what was happening, I didn't know what it was, I didn't know how to deal with it, I didn't have a clue at this stage what was going on.
My God, I feel dizzy, mate. Sit down. Oh, what happened?
Wow. But that was the beginning. Just the beginning.
That was literally the beginning.
Encounter with Becky?
Sorry?
Was that the encounter with Becky?
No,
Okay.
it wasn't. When I questioned Becky about that, the council, because of who I am and my reputation in the UK, I mean, I've been around a long time in the UK, I've done TV work and everything. I've spent a lot of years building a lot of credibility. So the council and Channel 4 went to a documentary. I wanted to investigate their building because they was getting reports. Staff was seeing a woman on the stairs and a child crying in the lift shaft. I said, yeah, okay, I'll come and check it out. At this point, I was nowhere near the strength I am now with what I do with energy. Okay, in fact, that was my first encounter with it. And when I spoke to Becky about this, because Becky's been there a long time, okay, she basically told me now to the effect, it was, I hate terminologies, spiritual attack, whatever. It was basically someone hitting me with it. Now, this energy is not. It's not something the human body was designed for, it was, like I've said before many times, you put your finger in a plug socket and you get that, it's kind of like that, but not as bad. But what I'm saying is it's the opposite to what, it's not conducive for you. And you know what, it didn't feel healthy either, but you know what, it absolutely knocked me for six. It was afterwards I questioned Becky about this and she told me that something or whatever had done this to me. So that was my first introduction to this, and then that led on to a lot of questions between me and Becky about energy, this, that, and everything else. So that, yeah, but the short version is that was my first introduction to this energy.
Well, then you learned that you could not only obtain that energy, but that you could actually expel it as well, correct?
No.
Okay.
Becky, this is really difficult for me to tell you because I don't pretend to know everything and how everything works.
Right.
So obviously, bear with me and just cut me a bit of slack here. So I'm just doing my best to kind of get through this. A change, I'm not going to go into details or why or the ifs, buts, and everything else. A change took place in me via Becky that rather than the energy be alien to me, that I was actually able to absorb it. Now, John, this is going to sound really strange for all your viewers. This guy's wacko. This guy's crazy. You know what? I don't care. Take it, leave it, do what you want with it. But this is the truth. I'm an honest guy. A change took place within me, frequency-wise, to enable me to utilize, absorb, and utilize this energy over time. I didn't even know this had taken place. One night I was talking to Becky in the workshop. I know at the time there's this woman, I'm not going to say her name because you know what, I'm going to get sued. She was big in the UK, you know, talking to people, and this and that. Her name was Psychic. Everyone in the UK know what I mean, this lady. And there was this thing went out about having an earpiece and everything. I said, Becky, so what about this psychic? Is that real? And she said, it's a load of rubbish. Okay, great. No, I know. But then I went on to other things, and I was talking about, because I've got a very curious mind, a very, very curious mind, and I'm not a stupid guy. And I was asking about spiritual healing, these groups that they get and everything. And that's the question. I said, are they doing that, or is spirit intervention? Is this a real thing? She didn't answer the question. She said, "You can do it." I said, "I can do what, Becky?" Heal. Tony, what do you do with that? When someone says to you, "You can heal." Now, I'm a very skeptical person, and logical, grounded person. When somebody says to you, a spirit, in a perfectly clear word, "You can heal," what the hell do you do with that? You think, what? How? I mean, seriously? And I kind of left it there with Becky because I didn't understand how, what, and I said, how? And she said, these are the words that she said: "You will be tested along the way." And when I asked her about being tested along the way, she meant on a spiritual thing with the healing. She was talking, and I questioned about this, about public perception with the public, dealing with bad stuff and everything. And I was fascinated at this point, but I left it at that. And then my daughter brought a mouse in, the cat had, and it wasn't stiff, but it was nearly cold. And literally, I put it in my hand, and you see these fleas leaving its body. You can literally see the fleas leaving its body. And all of a sudden, I got this massive surge of energy. Because I put it in my hand, and I didn't even think that what I was doing here. I didn't plan this. I put it in my hand, and I just covered it up. And I got this massive surge of energy. This mouse, my God, within so many seconds, it wasn't just sitting in my hand. This mouse that was grubby and fleas leaving its body, it was in pristine condition. And now the thing is with this thing with me and Becky is, I don't plan, I don't think, I don't wonder. It's just intuitive. Something just happened, and I know what to do. And I obviously had a lot of questions for Becky about this, and I don't even like to use the word upgrade, but I can't think of anything about it. Over the years, I've become very much stronger in what I'm doing incrementally. Okay. And it's brought a lot of abilities into play. Some things I can't explain to public because Becky said that I can't. B, they're not ready for it, and C, I don't even understand it myself half the time, Tony. All I know is that it works.
Correct. You know what? We have that mouse clip. Let's take a look.
This was the first time this energy was utilized to actually do something good like that.
Cool.
All right, here. Hold on. I want to make sure I share the sound.
Well, you know what? It is live. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a good clip, though.
Tony has mouse experience too.
Yeah, be careful when Tony refers to mouse because sometimes he ejects himself from the group.
I have changed the mouse.
Well, I've got to say very quickly, Tony. Then I did that, and like my ex-partner at the time was like, "Wow." My daughter was like, "Oh, Daddo's," you know. And it was a few days later. She bought another. She said, "Oh, Daddo's, we've got another mouse, and it got its head missing. The cat had it." I said, "Sweetheart."
All right.
With that one.
Here is that clip.
Share audio.
On this afternoon, my daughter came in with a mouse, which had been promptly retrieved from the cat. The mouse was very cool. The fleas had begun to leave its body. I put it into my hand. At this point, I felt the energy surging through my body. This energy, you need to understand, is extremely strong. Now, being aware of being able to project the energy, and the fact that Becky told me I could heal. This was the first time I tried to affect an animal. After a short time, I could feel the mouse actually moving within my closed hands. And I knew people wouldn't understand. Upon opening my hands, it wasn't just conscious, it was sitting there. And it was obvious it was now, for some reason, in pristine condition. It didn't seem to know where it was for a few seconds, before finding its faculties and deciding it was somewhere it shouldn't be.
That's 3 out of 3.
Hello down there today.
Right, little fella.
Oh, I need to do it again.
There's this little fella going. Where was he? Here we go. Let's just tip him out.
One late afternoon, my daughter came in with a mouse, which had been promptly retrieved from the cat.
Sorry about that. It replayed on me and didn't give me my my voice back. But
Hey, Tony, you know what? It's a live show. I mean, these things happen, you know, to the best of us.
They do.
That was really something, and I was shocked. Now, the reason there's no audio in there is because the energy was so strong that I'm like, and I start puffing and panting and everything else. That's why it's a voiceover clip rather than actually the audio from there, from the first part. But you can clearly see from what it was to where it went. Now that you know, there's an argument. Oh, it could have been unconscious and this and everything. I mean, you always get this. It was one of the things like you've got to be there to actually see how close to death this mouse, too much wine on. This mouse actually was. You know,
that was amazing.
Yeah,
it was.
Obviously, from there we progressed to bigger and greater things. And obviously, I had lots of questions for Becky after that. You know, because I didn't think I'm going to heal this mouse. I didn't think that at any point. When Emma brought it in, my daughter, I put it in my hands, and that was it. This surge of energy, guys. It's indescribable, and
yeah, I can't even imagine. But the next clip I'd like to show though is when you were with Steve with the dowsing rods.
I'll just explain this before you do this. We went to Tutbury Castle. Now, I'm not pumped and got energy all the time. It doesn't work that way. I can't control this when it starts, when it stops. Okay. What I know is if I'm doing a healing thing, after a few seconds, it just starts. You know, so I can't switch it on and I don't switch it off. And I don't, to this day, I know it's because of my union with Becky, but I do not understand it. And I'm being totally honest with you and the viewers. Okay. I'm not going to make some big elaborate thing. And, you know, at the end of the day, I'm still puzzled. I don't know. I don't know how it works. So I was at Tubby Castle. We was there, well, to investigate it. Now, one of the reasons that we went there was because Doug Cord put this video out. He called it a ghost on camera. And me and Steve were doing a lot of work together at that point, and we're like, a 50-50 on this one. And we went to see if we can replicate it, what he'd actually shown, and it got all public everywhere in all the press and everything. Now, the thing is, what you've got to understand as well, you know, and this is the problem with skeptics and scientists. Okay. Let me just give you one example. They always say EMF. Oh yeah, you know what? Ghosts and hauntings is rubbish because you get this EMF leakage from fuse box and everything. It makes people feel like they're being watched, to this, to that. And look, we can replicate it. Do you know what? Just because you can replicate something, it does not mean that that is what happened.
True.
Right.
You totally wipe out that account of what happened. Just because you can replicate something, it doesn't mean what happened. That is what happened. Okay.
Right.
So anyway, we did a fantastic replication, and we got it off to a T. I'll put that clip out on YouTube at some point. And but at this point, I'm pretty strong with energy. I've done a lot of work with Becky. We'd only done the mouse at this point, so I'm still kind of feeling my way around. But I do know that by this time we've advanced a lot, and I can absorb energy. We've got to Tubby Castle. You've not got this clip, and I said to Steve, do you know what? Let's just try this. So we got the rods out, and I've got this footage, and we'll reference this to the next second part of the show. I'm standing there. Steve's got these rods. And I'm like, nothing's happening. Despite my best efforts, I can't make them move at all. Not even a little flick. Nothing's happening. Within an hour, I'm standing there. We've just took the castle on court. Talking to Steve and his partner and Chris Andrews, who's a fantastic guy, Club Zero, paranormal, absolutely fantastic guy. And I could feel this surge of energy above me. And I looked at Steve and I said, there's a portal for me. And he looks at me. Now, Steve's skeptical, even at this point. You know, Steve's a parapsychologist. Okay, a portal. He hates the word portal. You know, what does it mean even, you know? And so I thought, okay, I need to get proof of that because I'm very hot on actually substantiating what I'm saying. Because when I say something, you know, Tony, guys, words are meaningless. They're cheap, they're easy. They don't mean a thing. So Chris Andrews is standing there and he's got this parabolic microphone on. And I said, and Becky was with me, she's with me 24/7. I said, Becky, if there's a portal for me, can you just say the word portal? Straight out. Comes out, she went, portal. Chris Andrews. Oh my God. And good because she was with me and Chris was standing really right close to me. The flood of emotion, this guy was in tears. She said, oh my God, I just heard a woman's voice say portal. Within a few seconds, it actually opened. The energy come flooding down. I absorbed it. Oh my goodness me. I thought I was going to explode. I had to get rid of it. Now, this was not an experiment. I needed a target. So I said, Steve, grab the rods. He grabbed the rods. Woof. That was it. The strength that I get from this, as I don't know if it's in this clip or another one, you feel so strong. You feel invincible, guys, Tony. You feel so strong that you really feel, like I said in the video, you can pick a car up and anything's possible. You feel like you could take on an army of 100 people and beat them all. The power is absolutely immense. So anyway, the portal opened, bang, and that's what happened. But you'll clearly see in this clip what happened and how it affected me.
All right, here's that clip.
As in this next clip, then I discovered I could use this energy to direct this energy for the purpose intended. He told me I could heal with this energy. I didn't doubt that this was possible if Becky said that it's possible. As time went on, the energies got stronger and stronger and stronger. and I was absorbing these energies more and more and more. It soon came to a point when I felt I needed this feeling, I needed this energy to feel normal. One demonstration of this energy was to take place at Tubby Castle and location with Steve Mirror. By this time, we already knew that I could expel energy. In this clip, you'll notice I tried to move the rods and absolutely nothing happened. This is because as I absorb the energy, it only lasts a certain length of time. It's a little bit like a battery. The energy's got to be there in the first place in order to absorb it, and when I use it, it depletes very, very quickly until the next hit comes along. Shortly thereafter, the portal opened, and again I absorbed the energy. To such an extent, I needed to release it quick. I told Steve, grab the rods. It was too much energy all at once. I needed to get rid of it. I'm being endowed with this energy. I feel extremely strong. That's what's happening now in this clip.
I'm just fucking so pumped. I felt like I could lift a car up.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
That was quite a face.
That's undescribable. I mean, I can't.
I know, Steve, when you were talking to Steve Mara yesterday, he said that he was holding the rod like very tight.
Well, he
and
also
it's
said
secure, and he can feel the energy.
he also said they were special dowsing rods that
Yeah,
would not-
you cannot influence them in any way. They're in glass tubes, for crying out loud. You cannot do anything with them.
Right. He said no flinches of the hand or muscle movement would
Would
cause
make any
the rod
difference
to move.
No, there was I'm not going to mention any names. There was he's been on my ass for, well, not now, she's kind of gone and went good under a stone, but I'm sure she'll have something to say about this. On my ass for a while, a skeptic and everything. Oh, this, that, and everything else. And so I put the challenge. I said, okay, do you know what? If you want to denounce something, that's fine. Just repeat it. No.
Well, Steve also said that he expected when he met Don to be gone within less than an hour. Well,
I know.
There with him for over 12 hours.
I was frustrated, Tony. I was frustrated. I mean, the first guy I contacted was Brian Allen, who at the time was the editor for Paranormal magazine. Brian was a great guy, and he was kind of like, yeah, okay, because you know what, these guys hear these stories from people making claims all the time. I mean, within the paranormal field, everybody's making claims, and they're just stories. So he said, "Can you prove it?" I said, "Well, I've seen some clips," and then he was intrigued. Then obviously I met Steve at a convention thing. I was introduced to him actually through Brian Allen, and it was a couple of years later. I'm trying to make people realize the possibilities of things. Yeah, there's a lot of people that make claims and they fall foul when it comes to testing, etc., etc. And you know what? Self-belief is a wonderful thing, but it's also an Achilles heel for a lot of people. Steve has been great. Steve was a skeptic, and I contacted Steve, and he literally put the phone down on me twice. He said, "Yeah, no, you don't want me." He said to his partner, he says, "Oh." He came out, he met me and my ex-partner at the time. He said, "Oh, Don's a really nice guy. These are nice people, and I don't really want to do this now because I'm going to destroy him." Steve actually thought he would debunk everything within an hour based on his then 35, 40 years or whatever. But I was persistent because you know what? I thought, God damn it. You know what? All I hear is there's no scientific proof. There's this, that, and I'm here. Becky's here. We can repeat this. So I pestered Steve to the point I almost annoyed him. And in the end, he went, "Okay, Don, I'm going to come down. But you know what? Anything I find iffy, I'm putting it straight out there. It will destroy you." I said, "John, Steve, that is what I want." And he paused on the phone and he went, "Oh, really? Yeah, just come down, Steve. Tell it as you find it. That's all I'm asking." And he did. He thought he was going to be away in an hour. It's like 10 hours or plus whatever later.
Yeah, 12, he said. But
Steve won't mind me telling you this, but like Steve's seen a lot of people over a lot of years. And you know what? A lot of people are pissed off with Steve because he does put it out, you know, and say, well, you know, no, this was no. Do you know what? Steve won't mind me saying, him and his partner, they didn't know where they were. They were like, what the hell is going on? You know, this can't be, you know, even to the point that I was using my recorder and Steve went, yeah, okay, yeah, put them away, use mine. Okay. He said, I've had this recorder for years, I've never got a goddamn thing on it. And he gave me this recorder. And I said a thing to Becky and she replied, and Steve was like, oh my God, because apparently, I mean, Steve said, this is my recorder, it's tested and everything. And we did a lot of experiments. This actually particular location happened to be the most residential haunted location I have ever visited in all these years. And this is the place where I actually indeed did meet Becky. Where me and Becky came, you know, kind of.
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So when you get these blasts of energy, I guess I'll call it, do you ever see anything visually?
Oh, someday someone was going to ask that, wasn't they? Yeah. Okay, so excuse me for my professionalism. You know, I've had a very, very busy day.
A little more.
This is actually pretty good stuff. I won't show you the label, but it's pretty good. It's full-bodied red. Okay, so as part of the progression in what I've been doing with Becky over time, and no, the answer to your question is that is absolutely not until over the last 3 years.
I'm back.
You're back. Somebody's back, guys. What do you want me to do about it?
It's Patty. I just wanted to tell you I was back.
Do you want to come in and say hello to everybody?
Yeah, let me put the dog
Do you want to totally interrupt this show and just
put the dog in?
put the dog in? Okay. This would be Patty, my absolutely adoring wife. Before she comes in and
Forward to have her joy.
Okay, where was I? Guys? Just remind me.
No visual to the energy.
Until 3
That's
years
right.
ago.
That's right. I said to Steve, I mean, me and Steve have been in contact a lot, and I said, you know, Steve, I don't know what's going on. I'm driving, and it lasts like 2 or 3 seconds, and I'm getting these visuals, and I don't mean like in your mind. Well, it is in your mind, but it's like literally looking at a TV. It is there in its entirety, and it lasts 2 or 3 seconds, and it's not common, it's not regular, it's periodic, and it could be something bizarre. Like I'm driving down the road, down the highway, and I suddenly get 3 seconds of this man and woman just talking in the kitchen. Which, what does that even mean? Okay, hold the front page, guys. What?
I can't open these doors.
Yeah, you can. You see, there you go.
That's a heavy door, huh?
No, it's just knackered, to be honest. Okay, so let me put your chair over. Guys.
Hello, Patty.
Hi,
This is my wife, Patty. We got married, what, how long ago?
February 19th.
Was it? Don't put that there. Say that. That's unprofessional. No, just, what are you doing even? So anyway, this is Patty. Patty, the guys.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Hey, Chris, can you do me a favor? Can you pop that question up that you just showed? Because I think that's
that one.
Yes.
What does that say?
There's a way to physically prove healing energies. It's done by freezing water and looking at the difference in the ice crystal formation.
Yeah, you know, that is actually true. Before I get back onto that, what was I just saying before we was interrupted by this woman?
About getting visions of seeing like a man and a woman.
So all of a sudden I started getting these little visions, and you know I've done this since we've been together.
Yeah.
I get 3, 2, 1 second, just and nothing makes sense. It can just be 2 people talking in the kitchen, a man and his wife or whatever. And I still don't know what that actually means. I really don't. It can happen at any time, and at the minute, it's not even a premonition. It's just meaningless to me. I just get these almost flashes of things that's happening in the world. Not disasters, not this. I'm not going to say, hey, you know what, hey guys, I'm the new prophet. No, none of that bullshit. Okay, just these random flashes of something going on between people or just anything, and I still don't understand it. But like I've said, incrementally, things with my abilities over a long time. So this is obviously something that's starting to happen, and I don't understand it. I don't know what it means, but at the minute it's meaningless to me because there's no point to it. You see a man and a woman and hear them talking in the kitchen for 3 seconds about anything. It means nothing. So yeah, I am getting these little snippet visions of something. I don't know what it is, what it means, or where it's going. Is that fair?
Yeah. Did you answer
completely?
I did answer the question.
Okay.
You wasn't even here. Don't you start me. Yeah.
So
You know what?
That's that really quick to our audience. That so what Don did with the mouse was very similar to a scene that people have seen from the Green Mile. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
I never thought of that. I never thought.
And I want to point something out to that the Green Mile is based on a true story, but the actual murderer in the Green Mile was a 14-year-old boy, and his name was Stinley Jr.
I've never seen the movie.
Stephen King wrote the movie Green Mile. He wrote the book Green Mile, which is the movie is based off of about that 14-year-old boy, but he cross-referenced a reference to a gentleman that could actually do what Don does. So what Don does, everybody's like, wow, that's fantastic. Is it real? It's been documented in the past before and added. In the movie The Green Mile is actually based on 2 different true stories of a man that could actually do what Don is doing, crossed with the reference of a 14-year-old boy that was on trial for murder, the same as John Coffey in the movie Green Mile. So yes, this has happened.
Wow.
You need to watch. You've never seen that.
I've never seen it.
Tonight you will, my darling.
Wow.
You'll still watch it tonight. So yeah, you know, I do a lot of stuff, and I don't know where this is taking me, but I am getting incrementally stronger.
Yes, he is. I can vouch for that.
Yeah, well, even as long as I've known Don, and I've known him for probably somewhere between 5 and 7 years, but only probably in the last 2 or so did we start communicating on a regular basis. But you got tested, Don. I mean, literally were put by Barry Fitzgerald in Ireland. Why don't you?
That was, do you know what? I was actually impressed with me.
No, let's talk about that, because I'm sure the first thing the audience is saying is, well, has this been shown? Has he been able to replicate and prove these? And I know it for a fact that you have, but why don't you go into a little bit of that?
Okay, so Steve was really impressed and scratching his head. You know, we'd done stuff. We did the Bothell thing with Keith Linder and everything, and he'd involved other people. And then him and Barry Fitzgerald do a lot of work together. And Barry Fitzgerald, you know, he's nobody's fool, is he? You know, Barry's an incredible good human being. He's very intelligent. You know, I like Barry and his wife. They're absolutely lovely people. But lovely people they may be, but Barry doesn't mess about. And unbeknownst to me, I mean, I was introduced to Barry just over Skype and everything. And it's like, yeah, Don, come over to Ireland and I'll take you to a few places. And Barry was basically setting traps for me.
Right.
You know, and I didn't know. I just never went to these places and wanted to tell him what I actually could figure out, essentially. Oh my God, guys, I was on fire. I was absolutely on fire. We were just heading into one place, Carrickeen, I think it's called. We hadn't even got there, and we're driving miles. There's me, there's Barry, and Ian Gunner, who's absolutely another great human being. And also, I'm like, I got this. You know, I said, Steve, stop the car. And this is just on the way to these caves in Carrickeen. Ian Gunner thought I wanted to go for a pee break, you know. And I got out of the car, and there's all this waste, it's just bogland. For miles, it's just bogland. There was absolutely nothing there, as Barry said. And I started getting all this stuff. It was a village, it was this, it was that. And I walked up to the car and I said, Barry, and Barry got out of the car. I said, there's something going on here. This is people. And he had this Irish grin on his face. I said, this has got to be a village or a cemetery or something. This is people. This is going back 2,000 years. Barry looked absolutely gobsmacked. He went, it was a village like 2,000 years ago.
It's something there's no way you would have known because you didn't even know where you
There's
were
no
going.
marker. The thing is, there is absolutely no markers. We was on this open road. There is no markers. There is nothing. It's the same thing for miles. So you imagine if you got in a car with someone, and this was a challenge, and they said, right, I'm going to drive you 30 miles. At one point, there's a village. I want you to step out of the car and identify exactly where the village is. That's pretty much what happened. Wow. He didn't put that to me, obviously, because he didn't even think I'd get it. He didn't, you know, that was never part of anything. Right. So we did that, and then we drove through these gates, a couple of miles down the road. I stopped the car, and I got out and started walking around, and I said, "This is like a cemetery or something. There's something going on here, energy-wise." And bearing in mind, I still don't know how this works. I'm being honest. So we drive another mile down the road. We get to these gates. There's a sign on it that says it's a Neolithic cemetery. At this point, Barry's absolutely like, wow. He's pretty much sold, you know. And he did these tests, these different locations. We don't know. I didn't know anything where we was going or anything. But when we went to Lachine House, oh my God, that is another story. So I'm going to stop it right there and just let you.
All right. Well, I'm just going to make an announcement because we're coming up on the first hour, but the Onyx Network will switch over. But if you want to continue watching this program, please make sure you go either to Facebook, to YouTube, or the other channels that we have it listed on to continue watching because there's some great stuff yet to come. Okay. With that said, I have quite a few clips of yours, Don. So I'm not sure what process you want to step into.
Give me a file name.
Well, I mean, there's quite a few of them.
Start with the top one.
Yeah, I mean, we can take a look at the orphanage clips, the working on Bob's heart. You tell me where you want to go.
Right. Okay. So let's stay with the energy thing. Okay. So you've got clips there of me working with various animals and then Bob. Okay. So have you got the one there with the crow?
The crow is on there. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So we've gone from the mouse with whatever in between. So if we cut to the crow, because obviously this is bigger than a mouse.
All right. Here.
Then what?
We'll figure it out as we go along. We're just making this shit up as we go along.
All right. Here's that clip.
It was one fine summer's day. I was taking the dog for a walk. She disappeared over the field and started barking. She'd obviously found something. I chased over to her to find a crow laying on the floor, looking extremely lifeless and showing no movement at all. Upon picking it up, it wasn't cold, so I thought there may be a chance that it could be alive, and it could be injured. I decided to try the same energy to see if I could help the crow, and this is what happened. And just like the mouse, when it came to, it was in good condition, but didn't seem to know where it was. But then shortly afterwards decided it shouldn't be there.
Whoa. Let's have a look at you. Let's have a look at you. I'll pass that.
This was quite a moment. Obviously a crow is a lot bigger than a mouse.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And do you know what? People will say, yeah, maybe it was exhausted, maybe it was stunned or whatever. But when you get to when you start sifting through these and doing several different types of animal, and when a veterinary surgeon tells a client that your dog's never going to walk again because it's too old for an operation, and it will always be, I mean, she's been walking for ages on 3 legs like this, and then you do your thing, and within 45 seconds-ish, this dog is just walking down the path. That's really something. I don't know if you've got that clip. What clips have you got there now, Tony?
That's the Hank and Lucy.
Yeah, Hank and Lucy.
Hank.
Oh, Hank and Lucy's a nice one to play. Hank is an amazing guy. This was during
Hank's dog had a seizure.
A stroke.
A stroke.
We went over to when we were shooting at the documentary at the Brookdale Lodge, and I'm not going to swear. So I looked at the camera and I said, "Hank, what the beep is wrong with your dog?" He was sitting there and he was going. That's all he was doing constantly.
Poor thing.
He said, "Oh, I spoke to the veterinary surgeon. He said she thinks she's had a stroke." I said, "Okay, can I do you mind if I just?" He went, "No, fine. You got a stroke." He said, "Yeah, fine." I looked at Patty. She looked at me. She knew what I was going to try and do.
Hank didn't know.
Hank didn't know at the
So
time.
I took Hank aside.
Within 30, 45 seconds, this dog was running around this goddamn shop.
Yeah.
Playing. You know.
Right.
Again, you know, I get a lot from this. Now, I always say to people, if I'm going to try something and they know about it, you know what, I don't know if it will work, or I don't know if it will or won't work. But you know what, to date, every single time I've done this, we've had a result.
Just with my dog.
Even with your dog.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I play that, though, I just want to state a couple of things, because these are the real important aspects that people need to understand. One of the conversations I had with Steve Mera when I interviewed him yesterday was that one of your biggest challenges, Don, is to get people, when they watch these little clips, is to understand, like you said, that this wasn't a one-time occurrence, that the animal started out small with the mouse and got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and the results were always the same. The fact that you could reproduce it, and even Steve Mera himself said he has not found a limit to the potential at this point. He has not.
I don't find a limit. In fact, I'm sure you won't be saying, Tony, you've got a little thing going on that I'm going to see if we can do something about when we meet. We're going to actually try that, aren't we? You know?
And absolutely we are.
And that would be groundbreaking, wouldn't it? Because this is medically confirmed.
Exactly. I mean, if you can go, and I know we haven't played Bob's heart clip yet, but you know.
Oh, that was incredible.
Yeah, that was me. But anyway, let me play Hank and Lucy. Here it comes.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Hank, and this is Lucy. Lucy has been with me now for many years. She's 13 years old, approximately. And about 3 years ago, when I had the privilege of working with Don Phillips while he was in the area shooting some scenes for a documentary, Lucy suffered what we think was some sort of a stroke. She had lost any willingness to move. Every time I picked her up and put her down, she just stayed there until the next time I picked her up. She was unwilling to walk. All she could do was bob her head continuously, up and down, left and right, like that. And I was very concerned, of course. Don saw her when I was at the set, and he asked if he could hold her. And I said, of course. And so he did, and he was trying to even out her heartbeat. That it seemed very erratic when he was holding her, and he was trying to give her a calming effect so that she could get her heart back in sync. And he held her for, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And I have to say, it had a profound effect on Lucy. She's had remarkable improvement, and to this day, which is almost 3 years now, she hasn't had any other issues. So I want to say thank you, Don, and please keep up the good work. Oh, Lucy. Yeah, she says thank you.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's great. That's beautiful.
It is beautiful. You know, I feel very privileged to be who I am and what I can do. You know, I mean, it's just that noise you can hear in the background now. That would be the taco van going by.
Not the taco van. It's the ice cream man.
Ice cream man. Anyway,
you said tacos, and I was saying yelling. Not that guy.
Yeah.
Imagine the journey that I've been on with Becky and the guys, and the abilities that I've attained through knowledge and through teaching, and
you just automatically, when you first did this, you didn't know what you were doing. You just automatically.
It's intuitive.
Intuitive, yeah.
Yeah, but it's an amazing place to be, and it makes you feel like it's a life worth living when you can actually.
And it's an amazing place to be for me to watch that.
I'm sure, Patty. That's
I feel very blessed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did okay.
I think I did.
I did pretty good too. Yeah.
You know what? But the amazing part for me is that even with everything that we've shown so far, and I will not overstep my boundaries. And Don, I'll let you, as we continue on, take it to whatever level you want. But that's only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Of what you have learned, of what the relationship between you and Becky has brought forth and allowed you. So it's, to me, that's just, I'm watching this just as amazed as everybody else, but having known you and had weekly conversations or daily conversations.
Yeah, I know.
No, there's so much more to it. And that, to me, just, that would take a lifetime of shows to get people to understand. So when speaking with Steve, he was saying, I understand his frustration because there's just, it's overwhelming to explain not even the smallest details, but the whole big picture. And, the intricacies of how things work is just beyond capability of most people to understand.
Yeah. Imagine you're me and you're trying to put this out to people. It's frustrating. And do you know what? In the UK for many years, I was challenging scientists. I was saying, guys, do you know what? Come and see me. Come and disprove me.
Right.
Put a goddamn helmet on my head. See what's going on in my brain when this is going on. Put sensors on my body. See what's happening when I'm getting a blast with this energy. It's energy. I don't know exactly what energy it is, but it's measurable. In some context, it is measurable.
Right.
It doesn't matter what I say. It's spirit energy or whatever. That doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if I've got an energy which is achieving results and it's measurable, that means it's something. And I'll put this out there now. If there is a goddamn one single scientist on this entire planet that actually wants to take this a stage further, put a goddamn help, probe me up, fine. Do you know what? I'm totally down for that.
Right.
Because this is what we need. The paranormal is, the subject of paranormal is so screwed right now.
Yeah.
Because you've got paranormal researchers, investigators. No. In the full concept of things, you've got paranormal investigators and paranormal researchers. They're two totally different things. Scientists to just let's just do this. I can get any answer from Becky on any question. And do you know what? You've got people at CERN trying to sort shit out and trying to do this and trying to understand that. It's as simple as this. I can ask Becky a question and tell them what they need to know.
Right.
How powerful that is.
You know how much money we'd save?
But let's talk about that for a second, Don. Before you let's tell the story about when you had Steve on the phone and he tell that story, because I don't have any clip for that. But tell
okay, we was doing some filming a Phenomenal project, and I speak to Steve on a daily basis. Steve says, "Oh, can Becky remote view?" What do you mean? Well, can she remote view? I said, well, you can tell me what's going on. Yeah. He said, oh, I said, well, do you want to do a little experiment? And he said, what do you mean? I said, do you know what, Steve? Where are you now? He says, I'm in my bedroom. Fine. Get something from your drawer, sit on the end of your bed and hold it in your hand. And I'll ask Becky what you're holding. He went, really? I went, yeah. You know, I mean, the thing is, Tony, I'm that kind of person, like win, lose or draw, you only learn by pushing the boundaries.
Right.
And if it didn't work that day, we could try it another day. It doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, the point is, you're going to try it because that's how we learn. And you know what? The thing is about failure, I spoke to you about this earlier, you know, failure is an integral part of success because through failures, we learn to succeed. Throughout time in history, that is how we've come out with medicines and everything. That is literally how it happens. Fortunately, with my union with Becky, we've actually never actually failed on anything yet, which is, I know is quite a big one. So I said, okay. So I said, oh, okay. And he got his partner with him. And he said, okay, Don, yeah, okay, I've got something. I said, okay. And the conditions were not totally conducive. There wasn't super clear. The environmental conditions, magnetic field, solar flares from the sun and everything, it all affects everything. So it wasn't super clear, but my hearing is very attuned to Becky. So he said, okay, I'm doing it. Okay, so I said, Becky, what's Steve holding in his hand? She said, it's a pendulum. A pendulum? Okay, so I said, Steve, I'm pretty sure Becky said it's a pendulum. And then I heard this voice in the background, which is Steve's partner. She went, you got to be shitting me. And I thought I got it wrong. I said, oh, Steve, you know what? We can try it again. He said, no. He says, what I've got, he got a close-face pocket watch. And he was sitting on the end of his bed. He took it out of his drawer. And he was swinging it like this.
Yeah.
For intents and purposes, that is a pendulum. Steve was totally sold. Jackie was blown away. I was impressed. Becky was happy. So it was good.
Well, you know, and that's incredible. And when speaking with Steve yesterday, you know, he said, yeah, Donald called me up and he'll be like, hey, Steve, how was your bath? And Steve's like, I just got out of the bath like 20 minutes ago. How does he know this?
Do you know what? There's this little segment in the paranormal debate thing, a video on YouTube, where Vitali is saying, also, Don can get people, Becky to spy on people. She's going, yeah, absolutely. And you know, let me put this in context. Becky will tell me things that she thinks I need to know. I don't say, Becky, can you go and spy on somebody? When I started JSI Paranormal UK, I got me and Becky have got different ways of communicating. I can just be doing anything and I'll get this little buzz and say, oh, okay, hold on, Becky. Becky wants to say something. And she told me that two of the team was planning on leaving me. And I was in this pub talking to this guy about joining another group. Why? Your guess is as good as mine. So I rang one of them up. And said, oh, hi, Don, how you doing? I said, so you're thinking of leaving JSI? She said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, you're in the pub talking about it. And she went, oh. And then it went quiet. And she was looking around the pub. She thought I was in the pub. She thought I was there. And she came back. She said, well, where are you? And I said, I'm at home in the workshop. She says, I said, so you're thinking of leaving? Because this woman had got visions of grandeur and thought she could be a superstar, basically, with somebody else. She wasn't happy with just being a team member. She wanted to be and she says, oh my God, I was going to send you a text message. Becky had literally, she was obviously watching what was going on without me asking her to, because she found it, and she actually come back to me and said, these guys are talking to Mr. X about leaving the group because she wanted to. And I rang her up, and she was actually in the pub with this guy having this conversation at this time. And they were totally blown away. So yeah, the power of...
Can I tell a funny story about Becky?
Of course.
Okay. I was over at my son's house with the grandkids. We were watching Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
And, yeah. And he was here, or in our condo where we used to live. And he goes, Becky, where are you? And she goes, I'm with the family watching a movie.
Yeah.
So she was with me and my kids watching this movie. She loves movies, by the way.
She's a total movie
Oh
fan.
my gosh.
Oh my god. Let me tell you this. Okay, the stuff I'm not going to tell you because no one would even believe it. But there's this brand new movie that came out at the cinema. And then it just came on to Prime. And I said, Becky, and she went, I've seen it. What do you mean you've seen it? No. And I've got to tell you this little story. Take it, leave it, do what you want with it. But years ago, I was Supernatural, the series.
Everybody knows that series.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching TV. And Becky, I didn't know what Becky. I know Becky's with me all the time. She's 24/7. I only got a buzz. I put the recorder on. I said, yes, Becky. She went, this is great. What? I said, hang on, Becky. Are you trying to tell me you are with me watching Supernatural? And she went, yes. That just totally blew my mind. Seriously, I'm sitting there with a spirit watching Supernatural. I mean, you can't make that shit up.
And we've had several spirits watch.
This just because people won't understand or believe anyway. So
okay.
just,
the satellite reception on the other side is shitty.
Oh, you know what? I guess at the end of the day, you know what? It's a good thing if you're a spitty person and you get into all these movies for free. But I
know. Can you imagine? I was in the back of the theater.
I was blown away. I said, Becky, are you trying to tell me you're sitting here watching Supernatural? Yes. Absolutely amazing.
It's a good show. She has good taste.
It is totally cool. And I tell you what, because of my knowledge of things, I will tell you that the amount of research that they actually did in producing that show, is incredible.
It is.
It's actually based in.
Yes.
Well,
that's why it makes it so good. That's why the show is so good.
Even the symbolisms, and everything. It's a shame it finished, guys, because that was to me the greatest show on the planet, and I totally love that. I mean, everybody loves that show. But as you said to Paddy, getting off topic a little, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to watch Supernatural, and we'll watch it from 1 all the way through.
Well, I did that. I watched 1.5 seasons.
Yeah, you cheated without me.
Yeah.
So anyway, carry on. Sorry, Tony.
That's okay. So I have 2 questions before. Actually, you might have one too.
No, you go ahead.
So my first question is for Patty. When you first met Don and realized everything that he could do, how did you adjust to that in the beginning? I mean, what was that like?
Okay. Back then I was, I watched paranormal stuff on TV for fun, or on, whatever. Right. And then, I met Don because they were because I was on Facebook.
Okay, hold on. You can cut back in. Okay, short version. Let me do a very, very quick thing. I was coming to Bothell to do the Keith Lindy case. Okay, Ghost Adventures did his investigation. They said there's nothing here. Keith's making all this shit up and everything. Keith was not happy with that. Keith contacted Steve Merrow in the UK. Steve, because of who I am and what I do, contacted me. Shall we go to America? Check this case out. We did a thing with Keith. We profiled. We did this thing. Asked him lots of questions over a lot of time. I'm going to America to check out this big case in America. Paddy was a follower for a long time. He popped up on a message. Says, "Whereabouts in America? I'd be interested to know." And I said, "Bothell. I'm only a few minutes from there. Can I pick you up from the airport to save you the cab drive? And everything." Yeah, absolutely fine. That's what we did. You picked me up, dropped me off at Keith's, and everything.
And I was just going to go back home after I dropped him off. But he's like, "No, come in."
No, come in. But and she's still here.
Yeah.
That's basically the short thing. That's how we met.
And
that's how we got involved, and we've been friends for a long time. We didn't plan on this.
No, we didn't. We're just friends.
Okay, carry on.
Anyway, so when I started seeing what he could do, my whole life perception just blew up. Okay. And that was really hard for a while, especially after the tree thing.
That's another story.
That's another story. We'll get into it.
I know that story.
Okay. After I dropped the next morning, I had to drop them off to the airport. I came home after that, and it was like I was sitting there. My son, my adult son,
on the floor.
I was in the kitchen, crying and laughing at the same time. He goes, "Mom, what is wrong with you?" I said, "I don't know if I was in a movie or if I mean, my brain, it took so long to digest what I had just seen."
Right. And I know that what you saw was not your street
it
level
went from
paranormal
0
stuff.
to
This
100.
was right.
And I was I had to really digest it. And then I got to know, we went to do our investigations in California and stuff. And so, I got to know what he was about and I wasn't scared. I was just, wow, whoa,
Paddy's first introduction to me was at Keys when I was talking to the guide. I was getting a lot of evidence and everything. And Becky told us to go to this place. It's in a homish.
Talk louder.
Sorry?
Yeah, talk a little louder.
A little louder. Okay. We ended up at this tree. It was an ancient American burial ground.
It's very small, very small town.
We went to meet this Native American descendant apparently, and she was going to just talk to us about stuff. And during in the cafeteria. Now this was weird because I never met this woman. I didn't know her. She didn't know me. And I was going to the bathroom. At the same time, she started to walk through the door, just the entry. She looked at me. Well, I just glanced at her. I'm just going to the bathroom. I don't know this woman. She don't know me. She didn't know nothing about me whatsoever. And she went, "Becky," and she collapsed.
Wow.
What the shit? Seriously, I don't know this woman. She don't know me. We'd never met. She didn't see my picture, my profiles, or nothing. Instead, we're just going for a chat with her. And wow, I'm like, how does she know about Becky? There was nothing on social media. We'd had no contact whatsoever.
And it's next to
well, this is the thing. So then
it's like a diner.
After we sorted all this out, she said there's a native native burial ground next to the cafeteria. So I said, okay, well, that's interesting. I'll take a little walk down there. We'll have a look. So we finished our little chat. She'd actually been involved in one of the investigations in Keith's. And walked into this little cemetery, native burial ground. And I looked at Steve and I said, "Do you know what, Steve? There's nobody here." And he looked at me and he said, "What do you mean there's nobody here?" I said, "There's nothing under here at all. Nothing. Absolutely nothing." He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." And she overheard. Now, this is a big thing. And, native tribal traditions, burial grounds, everything. That's a huge thing. Okay.
Well, I did some research on that.
Hold on. And she overheard. And she said, "What did you say?" I said, "There's nobody home." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "There's nobody under here. These are just gravestones."
Yeah, tombstones.
Just tombstones. She said, "Do you know what? Several years ago, there was a rumor they relocated this cemetery to this point, and there was a rumor there just the gravestones."
Well, yeah, because they put a road through it.
Because they put a road through it. So she was blown away. Steve was blown away. I was quite happy. And I felt a little bit brazen in saying to somebody with such deep-seated beliefs, Native American, "You know what, guys? There's nobody under there. These are just gravestones." That's a big thing to say to somebody, and to a Native American. So anyway, we're walking out, and there's this tree to the left, and I'm like, I got this energy, this really weird feeling. She said, wow. And I didn't know it was a tree at the time. I thought it was the point I was walking over. And I said, I don't know what's going on here. So there's something weird going on here. So he said, oh, really? I said, yeah. So we got back to Keys. Anyway, it was a couple of days later and everything. And Becky wanted me to go back. I didn't know why, did we?
No.
So we drove back, and it was, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning.
It was late.
It was pretty late. I walked up to this tree. This bush popped out, and they wanted me to kneel at the tree for some reason and grab the overgrowth, just hold it.
It was next to a.
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Also now, this big surge of energy, I thought his voices were popping out. Kneel before us, you can levitate. These will bombard you. The temperature dropped to
It was horrible.
Insidious.
It was. I've never had that.
The ground, I mean, normally when temperature
like
drops, the ground will get wet. You know, it was so cold.
It was inside
Steve
out.
was like this with the camera. Now,
Never
when we got
felt
there,
that.
it was absolutely fine. It was crazy. And these voices were coming out from this tree area. Steve's backing off. You can levitate. Up, up, up. Steve's like 15, 20 feet away. You can hear this quite clearly.
In the meantime, I went back to the car.
Hold on, I'm coming to that.
What, things are moving?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm coming to that. And
You used to always tell the story.
I didn't know what was happening. I was like, oh my God, what the hell is happening? Go back to the car. Anyway, I said something to Becky. She said, perfect. And then I got this, John, I mentioned earlier about these little 3, 2, 1 second flashes in my mind. Now, Steve mentioned, Tony, that there was some really bad stuff that went on.
Right.
This was many, 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 many years ago.
She said the 20th century.
It was still many years ago. But we was talking, not child, we're talking baby sacrifice. I saw this in my mind through Becky. That was it. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just got this surge of energy, and I just knew we had to deal with whatever we was dealing with. Now, do you know what, Tony? No, I don't use the word demon as such. It's good and bad. But, oh my God, that night, if there was anything you would describe as demonic, that would be it.
Right.
You can levitate up, up, up. At this point, Steve's backing off. He's walking backwards and he's shaking like hell, like this with the camera.
Steve backed up all the way to the car. He told
Steve
me.
was scared.
Yeah, because I was with Steve.
Hold on. Steve was scared. No, I'm going to get to you. But Steve was actually frightened. Now, Steve's about 6 foot tall. He's done paranormal. He's been like 40 years. This was not paranormal. This was supernatural, and this was the real deal.
Right.
Now, me and Becky had to deal with this there and then. So I did something that had never been seen publicly, and I had no choice. I had to do it there and then with the energy. Okay. And we resolved the situation to the point there was nothing after. There was absolutely nothing. It was gone. To all intents and purposes, it was gone. It was destroyed. It was just gone. And in the meantime, I mean, I didn't know what I was dealing with at the time, but I knew it was really strong. It was really bad. And I'd actually told Patty to stay in the car. Unbeknownst to me, Patty in the car
by myself
was going through a whole lot of shit. Patty.
Yeah, I would sit there. Steve and him were out just in front of me in the grass. And all of a sudden there was this tree, a different tree in front of me. It started, and there was no wind. It started doing really weird things. And on my console, my pen started going every which way and up and forward, and everything in my car was like.
You started crying, didn't you?
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Next time he tells me to stay in the car, screw that.
You were in tears.
Well, I was in tears because when you came back to the car, you were like, you fell on the pavement.
Well, yeah. Do you know what? Okay, I don't know how to even describe this, but with what I'm doing with Becky, it obviously has a physical effect on my body. It absolutely slaughters me when I'm pushing stuff out to that extent. It absolutely slaughters me. And I got back to the car. I was exhausted.
Steve had to help you up.
And then that is the point, actually. That is what I got in the car, and then I got this flash of these babies, what was happening at this tree, you know. And I got this surge of adrenaline, and that's when I jumped out.
You got
again. I went, you know, excuse me, guys. I went, fuck it. We need to deal with this now. It was, if it was to be in Hollywood, it would be a Hollywood moment. Trust me. Yeah. These guys, these entities, whatever they were, had been there a long time. I don't know if it was connected to the fact that there was a mortuary literally about 5 feet away from it.
An old mortuary.
Yeah, it's like a
little cabin. Yeah.
But me and Becky had to deal with that there and then. Now, this was never planned, and this stuff going on, I've been doing it for a long time, and it was never, ever, ever been made public. But I had no choice but to do it there and then. Steve witnessed that. Patty witnessed that. And it's because of that, literally that one time they saw that I started to discuss with people and try to explain to them what's going on with the energy.
And you've had a couple more instances.
Oh, yeah.
I won't talk about that because we could go on forever.
Yeah, my biggest problem.
You know what time it is.
It's,
okay.
You know, it's not so much belief, getting public to believe what's out there in a bad context, but to understand it and how it works. Do you know what? We go through life. Society has totally destroyed spiritualness within people. The ancient Americans, they was onto this. They got no distractions. They wasn't trying to pay their bills, working 12 hours a day and everything. It was the spiritualism of it, you know. So technology has totally destroyed spiritualism within people. You know, Tony. And you look in a mirror, you know, society tells you, yeah, you know what, you're a human being. You're just a human without the limitations. Science says this, science says that. Bullshit. You are not a human being, you are a spiritual person within a vessel. The only constraints, the only restrictions is your mind. You are programmed, you are brainwashed, you are born, you are brought up. You don't decide what's what. You are brainwashed by society's rules, regulations, what's possible and what's not. Okay. To free your mind, you literally have to let go of everything you've ever been taught by society. When you're a kid, you know, your mind is a blank page. People write to that page. You don't write to that page. People do. They tell you who you are, what your limitations are. This world is an absolutely amazing place, and the possibilities are limitless. I'm very, very fortunate. I've been able to step outside the boundaries of society, the limitations, and everything else. And I've been able to explore and experience what is actually really possible when it comes to spirituality and dealing with the guides.
Yeah, I saw the comment with spiritualism and technology, and I feel like I look at anything that's an ism like that, and I feel like that when you have a duality of two different things coexisting, that you have a choice in that. You don't have to. Spiritualism and technology can go hand in hand. It's in the person wielding the decision.
But you don't have a choice. We are brainwashed from when we are children to what's possible, what's not possible, and who you are. You look in the mirror, you see yourself. You know, that is it. I prove the possibilities are boundless. There is no restrictions. Your only restriction is your mind.
So if we choose to, if you get, and I see the whole brainwash thing, but as you get older, you realize you have your own choices and you can do, you know, your own things, and you can become more spiritual if you choose to.
Yeah, but then there's a spiritual. I mean, do you know what? We've got this thing where people's knowledge and their boundaries are set by what they're read, what they're told, what they see on TV. You've got to step beyond that.
Right.
Everybody I mean, I'm very fortunate. You know, I've got the whole goddamn thing going on, and that puts me on a pedestal with these guys. And you know, that is something that you cannot put a value on. People are so distracted with politics, with life, with family, with religion, with paying bills, and just surviving, that they don't realize who they actually are. I asked Becky a question one time. Becky, what came first, people or spirits? What do you think she said?
People are spirits.
Spirits. Spirits, believe it or not, is our natural form. That is who we are.
That makes sense.
It does make sense. It makes sense. I mean, I would agree with that. And what, you know, it's just, it's true what you say. People do get brainwashed. They watch YouTube and they get, someone has an opinion and they go and they.
No, I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm talking about when you were born as a child.
No, I know. I understand that.
Your mind is a blank page.
Mm-hmm.
Society writes to that page. That defines who you are later in life.
True.
Your parents.
Your parents, this, that, religion, religious beliefs, or whatever. You know what? Fine. Each to their own. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I could piss a lot of people out by stating certain things I know as fact, which is totally outside of what they believe. But I'm not going to do that right now. But what I'm saying is, I explained earlier about when I was being bullied and everything, and I actually feared for my life as a little child. I went to this place. I was like, oh, what's this? It was Sunday school. I started going to Sunday school. I did the whole church thing. I got confirmed. Wow, God, this, the whole religion thing. Yeah, you know, I'm down with that because this is the way it is, because my page was being written to. When I got older, a little older, I started asking questions. Questions that put people outside their comfort zone. The priest, this, that. The answer I received was this. Well, that's just what faith is. No.
Right. I did the same thing. No. I was raised to be Catholic. And then it came to a point that I was like, no, I'm not doing this. No. There was too many things that I was saying. I was like,
I have studied over the years many indigenous cultures, religions of everything, minds, this, that, and everything else. And the more I looked into things, raised more questions. That has brought me to the conclusion that I'm at today with whole religion things. I'm not going to go. That's a show for another day. But it is fascinating to me that people follow blindly. Now, I say follow. You know, I don't want to piss people off, but I'm saying blindly. They go to church, they listen to the preacher, they read the Bible, they take it all in. Okay, wow, this is it. No, stop. Take that right back, and I mean right back to the beginning. You're going to start questioning a whole lot, which is going to put you outside your comfort zone.
I remember confronting one of the priests, and I told him, "But why do I have to confess to you?"
Exactly.
God to hear me. And I was like 18.
Let me be quite frank on it. Anything that makes a person a better person, I've not got a problem with. Okay. What I have got a problem with, and I'm not talking about any particular religion, is belief structures, lies, and control. It's not about my truth. It's not about your truth. It's about their truth. This is a story for another day.
But it's an interesting topic.
Yeah, you know what? I'm looking at the time, Don, and we're ticking down. I played maybe 4 of the 30 some videos you sent me.
Oh wow!
Okay, I want to make. Hold on. I want to make sure that I leave tonight's show, because our time's running out, that we put it in a position that you want to pick up for part 2, because we're gonna run out of time here.
Okay, yeah. Tony, play it as you see it. Just go to.
And I gotta go pick up my son from high school.
It was nice meeting you, Patty.
Yeah,
nice, yeah, great to see you, Patty.
Bye, Patty.
Okay, go on.
Okay.
Disappear.
I'll disappear.
All right.
Bye.
Just bear with me a second.
And for my East Coast counterparts, I'm going to play a couple more clips of Don's, I know it's late for you guys at your work, so if you need to step out, I understand.
You're too busy watching Patty trying to get out.
I know.
All right, so the first clip I'm gonna play, and I'm gonna have to share the screen. But Don, I wanna play the Brookdale Reporter.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good.
All right, so let me pull this up. I'm getting echo. Sorry. And let me share this. Okay, I'm getting echo. Where'd that echo come from? Okay. Share.
I don't hear it anymore, Tony.
I haven't played it yet.
No. I don't hear your echo anymore.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
echo.
Okay.
And here it comes.
And I guess we're just trying to play back the layers a little bit deeper, sort of fact and fiction and everything.
Documentary filmmaker and paranormal investigator Don Phillips has made a name for himself.
It was after shooting this TV segment, a rather skeptical reporter requested a demonstration. I began speaking to the spirit, telling what it was I required. That's the subject, and getting acknowledgement for you guys. Right, so here it is. Shall I do that again? Okay,
Yeah.
Again. Right, so. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so I explained about the recordings where I said the energy up here is now actually quite high. We are now going to try and get an intelligent response to a very basic question. Now, a digital recording, if there's nothing there, all you should get is shh and nothing else, okay? It's important that we can actually hear what's being said and not try and make it fit. That's very, very important. So I'm now going to do just what I normally do. Okay, we'll see that's all right. You guys are very, very cool for me, very helpful. The lady, actually, if you can help me, that would be great. And the spirit didn't let me down. It was this clear male voice, for whatever reason, said check above me. You're real. And much to the surprise of the reporter, a second spirit said, come and find us, very clearly. Is there anything on there, isn't there?
Yeah, no, I don't think there should have been.
That's the last recording. It's got something to say.
Play it again.
But, point being, it was quiet when we took that recording.
Mm-hmm.
That should not be there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay.
I don't know how that sound came out.
You know, so, and you've heard the hello from the lady, which was very nice.
Right.
Hello, you already got that.
Would you be able to send that to us?
Yeah, you can do that. I can do
Okay.
It. What I'd like to tell you is actually the sentence when asked the question. The guy said, I don't think the rest of them will like that.
Yeah.
That's word for word, isn't it? Unless it was my imagination, the reporter suddenly sounded a little more nervous than he had before, and promptly decided they had to leave now to get this item ready for that night.
Yeah. Give you an update when you're all done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was right.
Okay.
Okay, Marianne, you got my. Is she here?
I'm here.
Oh yeah. You got my email. You got my number.
Yep.
So we'll be in contact. We do actually got to get running now to start putting stuff together for tonight.
I love that. I don't know if you realise, if you listen to that again, that he's got a little wobble that appears in his voice because he was there. It was totally silent.
Tony, you're muted.
But the Brookdale Lodge, we can talk about that in the second part of this. I mean,
Sure. Yeah, I'll just transfer the clips we didn't show over to part 2. But Don, I just want to say thank you to both you and Patty for coming on tonight. I mean, like I said, I know this is just the very tip of the iceberg of what your capabilities are. But I want to say thank you to both you and Patty for coming on tonight, for opening the conversation. And we've got a whole nother show next week to cover even more of this. So thank you, Don, very, very much.
Do you know what, Tony? I appreciate the opportunity, and it's great to actually see your guys there, because like I said before, I thought they were just virtual. I keep hearing about these guys. I never actually spoke to them.
Best team ever. Let me tell you, if my life depended on it, there's not a single person on this panel that I would not trust it to. So,
well, on the next
I'll feel the same.
Yep. On the next show, we will take it up another level. But fantastic show. Really appreciate it. Really enjoy it, and thank you.
All right. Well, with that said, Chris, you normally give our closing line, so give me one second to get to the closing banner so I don't screw that up.
Well, you're all right. Do you want me to do both?
No, I got it. Go ahead and give a closing line for us.
So Don touched based on Don's got some really good energy that he creates, and what he uses it for is fantastic, everybody. And if you weren't paying attention, we touched on religion a little bit, and everybody feels differently on religion. But I think the best comment that I saw tonight was actually from the drunkest member of the group. It was Scott. Faith is different from religion. Okay. And energy comes from faith. Faith comes from energy. That if you believe in the Holy Ghost, you have to believe in spirits. You cannot separate the two and think that those two worlds don't collide. And with that being said, all of that comes down to staying haunted. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Night.